chosen one, please don't scroll away. Because these words are not meant to inspire you, nor to encourage your spirit. This is a sacred message, not from man, but from a higher place, a divine command arriving at the exact moment you need it most. Right now, in this very moment, you are not hearing these words by accident. Everything has a reason. Be still. I know your mind is in turmoil, wounded by false accusations, misunderstandings even within your own home, the stares and whispers of others. But silence does not mean weakness. It is the strength heaven is placing in your hands. No one but you truly knows how heavy this burden feels, yet you're still standing, and that in itself is a miracle. Remember, God once told his people, "Stand still and see the salvation the Lord will bring you." That was not just an ancient story. It is what is happening to you right now. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain or defend yourself. Your silence is opening a powerful door, a place where divine justice will speak on your behalf. You felt like you were holding on to a fragile light in the middle of a storm. One wrong wind, one false word, and it could all go out. But what you didn't realize is this: your silence is the shield. Not because you don't know how to fight back, but because you were chosen to win in a way no one will see coming. Those who opposed you, those who doubted you, they're about to witness what heaven is about to do for you, not through noise, but through undeniable proof. You are not invisible. You are not alone. Heaven knows your name, and recognition is coming, not through shouting, but through a quiet victory that is already unfolding. Your silence, that is the answer. Before you go any further, do 3 things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with the number 999, the symbol of endings and new beginnings. This is your declaration that you are ready to receive what is being spoken into your life. If you truly belong to the chosen ones, you will feel the truth in every word. And you will know this is no game. A great movement is happening in the unseen realm. This is not just a simple warning. This is a wake-up call, and you are part of the divine plan. The time to move forward is now. The truth is about to be revealed, and it will shatter every lie that has weighed on your mind. When God formed you in your mother's womb, he didn't announce it to the world. No spotlight, no trumpet sound, no special broadcast. A miracle was hidden in silence, nurtured in darkness, away from every watching eye, until the moment he chose to reveal it. That is exactly how God is moving in your life right now. Remember the prophet Elijah. He waited for God's voice through the wind, the earthquake, the fire, but the Lord came in a gentle whisper. No noise, no drama, just a soft sound, powerful enough to change everything. It is the kind of voice only hearts trained in stillness can hear. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Not argue, defend yourself, but be still. Because in that stillness, God is moving. When you try to speak up and defend yourself, you may be stepping into the very plan he is already arranging for your good. Sometimes silence is agreement with heaven, not surrender because of defeat, but surrender because of trust. Jesus never broadcasted his miracles before they happened. He gave no explanations, no announcements. Before every act of power, he quietly withdrew to seek communion with the Father. Then he stepped out and made everything fall silent. Your silence, in the same way, is not emptiness. It is filled with faith, with spiritual authority, with heavenly strategy. Remember this: silence is my armor. The enemy knows it. He knows that if you remain silent, you will rise above. But the moment you speak out of turn, he can twist the battle in his favor. The recent conflicts, the angry words pressing at the edge of your lips, they are all traps. At the center of it all lies this: your words. Don't let him win simply because you couldn't stay silent. He knows exactly whom to use, what to provoke, what memories to stir up, just to trigger a reaction at the very moment God has called you to hold your peace. Picture this. You are carrying a cup filled with pure water, symbolizing the breakthrough, the answered prayers, the blessings you have waited for so long. You're walking across a battlefield, and every step requires absolute caution. Because the cup is fragile, and what's inside is more valuable than anything else. Then comes the explosion. Not bombs, but slander, misunderstandings, mental attacks crafted with precision. Do you know what makes you most vulnerable? It's not the enemy aiming at the cup. It's him trying to make you spill what's inside. He doesn't need to destroy the miracle. He just needs you to lose control of your emotions. Proverbs 18:21 says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And yes, the devil knows this better than anyone. He understands that one careless word at the wrong time can undo what God has prepared for years. One outburst of anger can cost you a whole season of blessing, not because you are unworthy, but because you couldn't hold your tongue. The truth is, most of God's children don't lose their miracles because of moral failure, but because of reckless words. You have been faithful, you have been patient, but then someone presses the wound, and you blurt it out. That's when the battle shifts. The one you thought was the enemy may actually just be a tool in a bigger plan. The people who hurt you might be being used, and they don't even know it. The real battle isn't with them. It's at your lips. Every time you defend yourself, you interrupt the voice of God. Every time you explain, you steal the moment heaven was about to speak. God is saying, if you stay silent now, I will speak for you, and when I speak, no one can deny it. While they are plotting in the shadows, in the unseen realm, God is orchestrating your vindication step by step. But here is the key question that will shape the next chapter of your life. Will you guard what is holy, or will you hand it to the enemy through the very reaction he's waiting for? Remember this: a warrior who trains in silence is far more dangerous than one who boasts before the battle. Let me tell you an old story, one full of warning. A 17-year-old boy carried a divine calling, gifted with prophetic dreams about a glorious future. His name was Joseph. In those dreams, he saw himself in a position of leadership, his family bowing in respect. But one impulsive act, speaking the dream to those who weren't ready to hear it, cost him 13 years of exile. Genesis 37:5 records that Joseph told his brothers his dream, not a lie, not arrogance, just the truth, spoken at the wrong time to the wrong people. And what happened next? They hated him even more, not because the dream was wrong, but because they couldn't handle the light in it. Sometimes the opposition you face isn't because you did something wrong, but because you revealed the right thing to the wrong audience. How many times have you shared your heart with people who were never assigned to carry you? How many times have you revealed God's promises to those without spiritual eyes to see? Perhaps your struggle isn't because of a wrong action, but because you spoke too soon. You cast a sacred seed into unprepared soil. Joseph learned the power of silence. In prison, in service, in waiting, he didn't complain. And then, when God's time came, his mouth opened at the right moment, in the right place, to the right people. And the very ones who rejected him ended up bowing before him. Now the choice is yours. Will you speak to satisfy your emotions, or stay silent to protect your destiny? Every vision he plants in your heart, every promise he sows deep within you, every quiet dream he entrusts to you, all of it is carefully guarded in a sacred treasury, waiting for the exact moment God has appointed to be revealed. If you find yourself in Joseph's story, if your trials echo his journey, then whisper in your heart, Lord, Keep my lips until your perfect timing comes. Because the very people who cannot receive what God has placed within you today will be the same ones applauding when He completes His work through your life. But that will only happen if you are humble enough to stay silent, trusting enough not to interfere with His plan. You may think that prolonged silence is proof God is distant, that He isn't listening, but that's not true. I want to change how you see waiting. The walls of Jericho didn't fall because of an early shout. They collapsed after 7 days of absolute silence, God's people marching around them once a day, saying nothing, asking nothing, simply walking in faith. 7 days of no complaints, no explanations, only quiet obedience. And it was that silence that made way for the miracle. Their families doubted, the enemy mocked, but heaven wrote victory through wordless footsteps. Remember Moses at the Red Sea. He didn't call Israel to argue or to resist, just one command: stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. No panic, no defense, only unshaken stillness. You are weary from explaining yourself, from defending your choices to those who cannot understand God's calling on your life. But maybe in the very silence you think is empty, the miracle is being prepared. Like an orchestra tuning in quietness before the music begins, heaven is aligning every note. Everything is in place. The door is already open. You have only one task: be silent, not because you are weak, but because you are strategic. Not to surrender in defeat, but to guard the victory that is coming. The enemy knows this. That's why he fights so hard to make you break this sacred silence. But today, you can choose differently. Hold your peace and let God move. You are in the middle of a divine orchestration. While people whisper and speculate, God is arranging restoration and vindication on your behalf. While others speak, heaven is acting. Every time you choose patience instead of reaction, you hand the reins back to Him, the only one who can win battles you were never meant to fight alone. The question is, can you trust Him enough to stay silent? Can you see your silence not as weakness, but as divine strategy? Because silence is not emptiness, it is the battlefield where victory is being forged. The warrior who sharpens his sword in silence will always be more dangerous than the one who boasts before the fight. Breakthrough does not come through shouting, it is nurtured in stillness. But can you stay silent long enough for God's voice to rise clearly above your own? Here is what you must ponder deeply. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He only needs to make you speak at the wrong time. He manipulates circumstances, sets verbal traps, knowing exactly how you might react. Those family dinners laced with sarcasm, the workplace conflicts that provoke your temper, the angry messages you sent and still regret, all of it designed for one purpose: to make you speak when you were meant to stay silent. The devil is a strategist. He doesn't attack at random. He studies your weak spots, the person who easily tests your patience, the memory that makes you explode, and sends them right on time. He doesn't even need someone who hates you. He just needs someone easily manipulated. Those who repeat your mistakes, question your choices, whisper about you, they are not the enemy. They are merely puppets with the strings held by an unseen hand. Proverbs 18:21 makes it clear, life and death are in the power of the tongue. And you must remember, the enemy knows that verse too. He knows that one wrong reaction can delay God's promise for you, not because of sin, but because of a lack of restraint. You have been faithful, you have been patient, but real victory comes from knowing when to stay silent and letting God speak for you. The moment someone pushes you past your breaking point and you react, that is the trap the enemy has been waiting for. Right now, there are people positioned to provoke you into breaking your silence. But the real battle isn't with them. It's with the words you're about to release. The enemy is waiting for you to speak, because the moment you do, everything can be turned upside down. But here is what changes the story. God is revealing the trap before you walk into it. The silence you keep is not surrender, it is strategy. You are not powerless, you are being positioned. Maybe this word is touching you right now. Share it before the enemy silences someone else who needs to hear it. The question that defines your destiny is this: will you protect your miracle, or will you respond in the very way the enemy is hoping you will? While people whisper, God is working. While they plot, heaven is arranging your vindication. But only if you guard what no one else can touch, the choice to stay silent so God can speak, will the victory truly belong to you. When heaven seems silent, I want to come close to you right now because I know something inside you feels like it's breaking, and no one else knows. You have prayed, you have wept, you have begged in the dark, and all you have heard is silence. You feel abandoned, as if God has packed up and left you standing alone in battles too big for you to fight by yourself. You whisper in the night, wondering if anyone even hears you. You question, if you love me, why are you silent? Why do you let them attack me while you say nothing about my pain? Let me be clear. God's silence does not mean his absence. It is deep preparation. Look at Job. After losing everything, his children, his wealth, his health, he still heard nothing from God. 37 chapters of heaven staying silent. Friends doubted him, his wife urged him to curse God, and still no voice from above. But behind it all, a great restoration was being prepared. God's silence was not punishment, it was positioning for his return. David experienced the same. While Saul hunted him, he withdrew to caves, writing psalms in isolation, wondering if the promise of the throne had been forgotten. Yet in that darkness, God was shaping a king, something no palace could have done. Even Jesus, before every miracle, withdrawing in silence, before feeding the 5,000, before raising Lazarus, before walking on water. Not because he was weak, but because divine power is perfected in hidden places. The silence you feel is not proof that God has forgotten you. On the contrary, it is evidence that you've been entrusted with heaven's mysteries. Breathe deeply and realize what you are experiencing is not emptiness, but sacred silence before the miracle. Every unanswered prayer, every tear in the night, every lonely moment is part of the story God himself is weaving. It is all preparation for the great things heaven is about to pour out on your life. God is not silent because he is distant. On the contrary, he is working so closely that even a single word spoken too soon could shatter what he is carefully completing for your good. The enemy thinks your silence means you have failed. But heaven knows this: your silence is the sign that you are dangerous. Because when God speaks on behalf of the one who has endured in silence, heaven and earth will tremble. If you feel heaven is silent, hold on with patience. Don't walk away now, because the answer you've been waiting for, the turning point that will silence every critic, is just about to appear. First, you need to understand the enemy's goal. He longs to make you speak before it's time. Your silent victory, O chosen one, in this sacred moment, I want you to keep 3 truths in your heart for tomorrow. Truth 1. Your silence is not surrender, it is strategy. When God tells you to be silent, he is not asking you to stay silent forever. He is positioning you for such a victory that when the time comes, your life will speak louder than any voice ever could. Truth 2. This season of silence is only temporary, but the character it builds will last forever. The way you hold your tongue, guard your peace, and trust his timing. These are not just survival tactics. They are the spiritual strength you need for the mission heaven is preparing for you. Truth 3. Obedience in the secret place is never wasted. Every moment you choose silence over reaction, you prove you are ready to carry the weight of what's coming. But here is the deeper reality: you are not alone in this journey. Behind the scenes, angels are moving on your behalf. In chapels across the world, believers are interceding for your miracle. Even in this very community, thousands are learning to trust God's timing over their own reactions. You are part of something far bigger than your personal trial. You belong to a generation learning to live by the command: move when God says move, stand still when He calls you to wait. So let me ask you, what if today's silence becomes tomorrow's testimony? What if what you call failure right now is actually the seed of a glorious restoration? Before you take another step, let me pray over you with the authority of heaven and the heart of a companion on this journey. Father, I lift up every person hearing these words. You see the tears they have shed, the words they have held back, the strength they've needed to stay silent when everything in them cried out for vindication. Cover them with peace that surpasses understanding. Let them feel your presence, stronger than the wounds, stronger than the accusations. Open doors no one can shut. Defend them in ways that silence the enemy. Give them strength to obey one more day. Turn their silence into the very ground where miracles grow, in the mighty name of Jesus. If this word has touched you, let it be known, so this community can stand with you. Let your story become the light someone else is waiting for. Chosen ones, remember this: today's silence lays the foundation for tomorrow's testimony.